Welcome y'all to DIY Food Plot Pro. Thank you for watching today's episode where we teach you what to, how to, and when to plan all food plots for all game. Today we are talking about how many food plots do I need on my farms, okay? I have an equation for this that I use in Western Kentucky where I'm located at, and I base mine on per 100 acres. Now, why do I base it on 100 acres? Because that's the average size of our farms is 100 acres. Some can be more, some will be less, but the average size is right around 100 acre farms, okay? So what I like to do, I like to have my big huntable plot. My plot that I'm gonna hunt most of the year, whether I'm hunting right over the plot or whether I'm hunting right as they're coming to the plot. I like to have that plot towards the outside where I have good access, where the deer do not know that I'm coming in there and hunting them. And I like for that to be kind of the outside of a farm somewhere super easy access, good soil or decent soil, and also good sunlight to grow my good crops, my big food plots that I like to produce, my corns, my beans, my alfalfas, my brassicas. That's where those are going to be, okay, to the outside of a farm. Now, a lot of you may not have room to plant. I really like planting a trio or planting multiple things in one plot. I'm going to have a whole video over that. I don't just like planting corn or brassicas or oats or cereal rye. I like to plant a lot of things in one spot. Now, a lot of you may not have room for that. And so if you don't, then you're looking at a spot like this in what I call like a sanctuary situation, okay? This is a spot that I'm not gonna hunt every single day by any means. May not hunt it, period. I will stick a trail camera on it. I will monitor it, but I am not gonna come in here and hunt every day. Why? Because my access is terrible. We're in a high deer density zone, okay? And the chances of you spooking deer, whether coming to or leaving, is extremely high. And the more deer you spook, the more educated your herd gets, the more pressure you're putting on them, makes it harder to kill the big older bucks, the more pressure that you're putting on those deer. So if you can get in and out, then you've got a spot that you can hunt. Even if it may not be in the best location, put the preferred food source there and they're gonna show up there, okay? That's the way I see this. I have plenty of food plots on this farm. I've got 1.5 acres of turnips and radishes up here, super duper easy access. And I've got 1.5 acres of corn, standing corn down here. And I've got right next to us is our bedding area. So I'm right in the middle of both of them, which is great. I have plenty of food on this farm. I don't need this as a kill plot. Some of you may need a spot like this. This was a spot that they used to farm and they quit farming it. And so the trees have kind of started working their way out, but there's still probably 1/4 acre here behind us that you could reclaim into a plot. This is where I would do a kill plot if I were y'all. I would plant a clover. I would plant some oats or some cereal rice, something different that's not in those other two plots is what I would try to plant here. And I would monitor the cameras. If I started getting good bucks in here in daylight, then you play your wind, you play your access, and you try to come in and hunt and try to get that buck killed before conditions change, okay? Don't try to go in before conditions are right. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see is, well, he's showing up or he was there last night on my cell cam. The wind's completely wrong, but I think if I spray down, if I use this scent control, if I do this, I'll be okay. What you're doing is you're teaching your deer that you're hunting that plot, and they're gonna start avoiding that. So I don't like hunting these places. I just typically, from my point of view, I do not like hunting these places. I would much rather have a spot where I have easy, super bulletproof access that I can get in and out and these deer not bust me. I think that's so important. But let's get back to the plots. Okay, I like to have 1 to 2 per 100 acres. So I like to have my big huntable plot on the outside, and then I like to have a sanctuary plot, okay? And a sanctuary plot is something that I'm not going to hunt. That's what we've already talked about. Clover's a really good choice for a sanctuary plot. Anything that you don't have in your big plots. I could never plant corn right here, okay? Too small of an area, too shaded. There's just no way a corn plot is going to make it in here. But there's a lot of other options of plots that will make it in here that will give you a little green spot, something of high quality nutrition, okay? So, what I like to do when I'm setting up a farm for a food plot, I want to make sure that I'm giving the deer everything that they need throughout the entire year. I don't want to just plant corn. I don't want to just plant brassicas. I don't want to just plant clover. The more things that you can put on that farm, the better odds you have of holding deer on your farm for longer periods, okay? There's a lot of folks that will plant something like clovers, okay? Well, there's a lot of folks that plant something like wheat or cereal rye. The more things that you have on that farm, the better off you're going to be. If you have oats, if you have clovers, if you have standing corn, alfalfa, you can bet that you're feeding those deer most of the year and that you're going to hold more deer on that farm and have higher odds of killing those deer, okay? So just make sure that you are giving those deer everything they need throughout the entire year. Don't have a clover plot here and then a something that's good in the spring and fall up there for your hunting. You're competing against yourself. That's the next point. At times, I think we plant too many plots because there's a lot of places around here you can plant an awful lot of food plots on. If you have 100 acres and you're planting 3-4 plots or more, you're competing with yourself, okay? You're much better off to have 1 or 2. Put the preferred food source in them. You know that's where those deer are wanting to come, and hunt that 1 plot or 2 plots. If you have 5 different plots, it's hard to pick and choose which plot is that big buck going to put in, especially if you've got 4 or 5 with the exact same food sources, okay? That makes it really, really tough. Then it's just absolutely rolling the dice and hoping he shows up at the one that you're at, okay? So don't spread your deer out by planting too many plots. Deer density goes into this. This is absolutely deer density has to figure into this equation. If you have a high density deer zone, you need to have bigger or more plots, okay? Or they're going to graze it off and it's going to be done. This 100 acres, like I said, acre and a half, 2 acres, somewhere around there. I've got about 4 acres, 3 to 4 acres of plots on this farm, and that's about perfect, okay? For me, this is extremely high density deer zone, but we also have a lot of ag around too that are supplemental feeding these plots, okay? So that has to be considered into your area. If you only have 7, 8, 10 deer on your property, then 1 plot with 2 or 3 different things in it might be plenty. Where here, if I planted 1.5 acres and that's all I had, and I planted 1 acre of corn and 1/4 acre of brassicas and 1/4 acre of cereal rye, that's not going to last, okay? They're going to eat that down and it's going to be gone. Whatever you plant, make sure you plant enough that those deer have something to eat on, or you're just helping yourself. You're not actually helping the deer herd, okay? And that's the last point, is help your deer herd. Don't just help yourself. Don't be a taker, be a giver, okay? And it's going to help your hunting. It's going to make your hunting so much better when you're actually giving that herd something and being able to help them, and not just trying to have something to hunt over. These plots are going to be great to hunt over. They're going to help you be more successful at harvesting mature deer. But you also you're actually helping the herd and giving them something to eat when in the winter months when that's crucial, when they don't have a whole lot. Right now there's not a whole lot, okay? They're still hammering my brassica plot, hammering it, okay? It's unbelievable how well that brassica plot has held up. The corn's completely gone now. Here we are, middle of March. We're nearly to spring green up. We keep getting 70-degree days, and then all of a sudden it drops back down into the 40s. But we're nearly through the most stressful period of the year. And on this farm, I think we're going to be fine. We've done well because of what we did, of the work that we did last year. Don't be afraid of this, guys. Go out, hit it hard, put a lot of good quality work in. Pay attention to the details. Have a good plot for your whitetails to have, to be able to get them through winter, and to have some really good hunting over as well. So this is the time of the year that we need to start looking at what we're doing on plots. Okay, we're doing soil tests, we're getting ready to start spraying, we're getting equipment ready. It's going to be here before you know it. So if you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button and help me grow the channel, and drop me a comment down. Let me know what you want to see. I've got a lot of good content coming out real soon. Thanks, guys.